I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
You running a $7,000 bar tab at the lobby bar has been filed by your own office.
This goes to show
during the day. That's you. This is the ultimate example of hypocrisy.
Mr. Chairman,
I will not be tarnished by baseless allegations
and
fraudulent statements from the media.
The fact that you mentioned that indicates you don't know what you are talking about.
The director of America's most powerful law enforcement agency sat before the United States Senate today. He was supposed to be there to talk about a budget. Instead, he spent hours defending himself against allegations of excessive drinking on the job, unexplained absences, political purges, misuse of government resources, and conducting lie detector tests on his own staff to hunt for people who said something bad about him that is not normal. And if you think the FBI is just a political story that does not affect you, because the numbers behind what is happening inside that agency right now should concern every single American. Welcome to Global Sketch. If you are not subscribed, hit that button right now, Edowo. Because what we are about to break down is one of the most alarming institutional stories in modern American history. Let us start with who Kash Patel actually is and how he got here. Kash Patel was confirmed as FBI Director in February 2025, becoming the leader of an agency with over 37,000 employees, roughly 13,600 special agents, and at the time of his confirmation, a budget of over $11 billion. He came to the role not through a traditional law enforcement background, but through his work as a congressional investigator and as a loyalist in Trump's first-term White House, where he served on the National Security Council and helped challenge the Russia investigation. His supporters described him as exactly the kind of disruptor the FBI needed. His critics warned from day one that he lacked the institutional experience and independent judgment required to lead the nation's premier law enforcement agency 14 months into his tenure. The evidence is piling up on one side of that argument, and it is not his supporters' side. Let's talk about the money first, because the budget numbers tell their own story. Kash Patel appeared before the Senate Appropriations Committee, today requesting $125 billion for the FBI's fiscal year 2027 budget. That is an 18% increase from fiscal year 2026. That same year, just 12 months earlier, the Trump administration had cut FBI spending by roughly $500 million, a cut Patel himself pushed back against, warning Congress that the agency could not fulfill its mission at those funding levels and would be forced to cut 300 staffers and leave 1,100 positions unfilled. So in the span of 1 year, the FBI went from facing a $500 million cut to requesting a $2 billion increase. The whiplash alone raises legitimate questions about planning, priorities, and how the agency is being managed at the top. The total Department of Justice budget request being pitched to Congress. This cycle is nearly $41 billion. The FBI's $125 billion slice is the largest single component of that request. Taxpayers deserve to know whether that investment is being managed with the discipline and focus the mission demands. Here is where the story becomes explosive on May 6, 2026. The Atlantic published a major investigative report alleging that Kash Patel had, quote, alarmed colleagues with episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences. The report cited current and former FBI and Department of Justice officials, who said his behavior had raised serious concerns about his ability to perform his duties. Patel responded instantly. He denied the allegations as a, quote, total farce. He sued the Atlantic for $250 million in damages. He called the reporting the work of what he described as the, quote, fake news, mafia. But then something else happened, something that told a different story about his confidence in those denials, according to two people briefed on the development and reported by multiple outlets. Patel ordered polygraph tests on more than 24 current and former members of his own security detail, along with other staff members. The stated purpose: to find out who had been talking to journalists. Think about that sequence of events. A report comes out. The director denies it. And then, instead of moving forward, the director turns the lie detector machinery of the FBI inward on the very people who travel with him, who are around him daily, who would have first-hand knowledge of his behavior. The FBI's spokesperson, when asked about the polygraphs, did not deny that they occurred. The absence of a denial in that context is itself significant. The polygraph situation is not a one-off. It fits a pattern that has been building since the beginning of Patel's tenure. According to reporting by the New York Times, since Kash Patel became FBI director, the Bureau has significantly expanded its use of lie detector tests. At times, according to that reporting, officials were asked questions as specific as whether they had cast aspersions on Patel himself. In one documented instance, agents were polygraphed to identify who had leaked the information that Patel had requested to be assigned a service weapon, an unusual request, given that he is not a special agent. The number of officials asked to take a polygraph under Patel's direction is in the dozens. According to people familiar with the matter, former FBI Counterintelligence Assistant Director Frank Figliuzzi publicly stated in 2025 that Patel had been, quote, visible at nightclubs far more than he had been on the 7th floor of the Hoover. Building Patel sued Figliuzzi for defamation. A federal judge in Houston dismissed that lawsuit in April 2026, ruling that the statement constituted rhetorical hyperbole and could not constitute defamation as a matter of law. One lawsuit dismissed. One lawsuit filed. The pattern here is not aggressive leadership. It is aggressive reputation management. The deeper issue is what is happening to the FBI as an institution. Former acting FBI Director Brian Driscoll told CNN in an exclusive interview published today that when he was serving as acting director before Patel's confirmation, Patel told him his job security would be tied to whether he fired specific people. Driscoll said a White House deputy chief of staff presented him with a list of 8 field leaders and executive assistant directors to terminate Igwo, several of whom were close to retirement. The justification given, according to Driscoll's account, cultural rot. Driscoll said he was told the firings were needed to mirror what had just happened at the Department of Justice, where more than a dozen career federal prosecutors from the Jack Smith team had already been dismissed. Driscoll refused. He was fired by Patel in August 2025. He is now suing Patel and the Trump administration for wrongful termination. During today's Senate hearing, Senator Chris Van Hollen looked at Patel and said 2 words that may be the most concise summary of the situation. You are a disgrace. That is not opposition rhetoric. That is a sitting United States Senator on the record, under the lights, speaking directly to the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The purges at the FBI carry a number, and that number demands attention. According to reporting and congressional testimony, Patel's tenure has involved the removal or forced departure of more than 50 counterterrorism and intelligence executives. These are not political appointees. These are career professionals, AWU. People who built their careers, tracking terrorist networks, running counterintelligence operations, and leading investigations that take years to develop. When you remove that much institutional knowledge from an agency of that complexity, the consequences are not administrative. They are operational foreign. Intelligence services notice disruption. Targets notice when surveillance lapses. Cases built over years become vulnerable when the agents who built them are removed. Brian Driscoll's account includes the detail that some of the agents marked for firing were close to retirement, gabwao, meaning their pensions and benefits were on the line. He said he pleaded with White House officials to let them finish their careers. The answer he got back was that the White House wanted the FBI cleaned out the same way the DOJ had been. There is one more layer to this story that has received remarkably little attention during today's Senate hearing. Patel was asked about a criminal investigation the FBI reportedly opened into the journalist who wrote the Atlantic article that exposed his behavior. Let that sink in. The FBI, under Patel's direction, reportedly launched a criminal leak probe targeting a journalist, because that journalist reported on the director's alleged conduct. This is the same FBI that is supposed to protect press freedom as a constitutional value. This is the same director who today stood before the Senate and said, quote, "The mission has never been more successful." The FBI official spokesperson denied that a criminal probe into the journalist was opened, but the denial itself came only after the report was already public, following the same pattern as the polygraph denials. So where does the FBI actually stand right now? Former acting director Driscoll told CNN that when he worked alongside agents trying to protect their colleagues and preserve the Bureau's mission, the atmosphere was one of, quote, Disgust and shock sources who have spoken to investigative journalists describe the morale inside the agency in one consistent phrase.
There was never any specific allegations or accusations coming from Beauvais that, these people on this list committed some kind of legal or policy violation.
In the lawsuit, it says that Beauvais told you that an allegation of misconduct was not necessary for him to terminate FBI personnel if he subjectively felt a loss of confidence in their ability to carry out the president's agenda.
When that request was made, we take it in. Tell me more. Why? Cultural rot in the FBI.
That was a phrase they used, cultural rot.
Yes. All of these other uninformed and wrong opinions.
Clown show people who attended FBI retirement events in recent months described the mood as one of, quote, absolute abject embarrassment. Senior officials who would normally be moving into assistant director and deputy director roles are choosing to leave instead. The agency is simultaneously being asked to handle immigration enforcement operations, political leak investigations, international cybercrime cases, and counterterrorism award, while its own director is fighting defamation lawsuits, testifying under oath about his own behavior, ordering lie detectors on his staff, and seeking an 18% budget increase from the same Congress that is calling him a disgrace to his face Kash Patel's position. According to multiple reports from as early as November 2025, has been discussed internally at the White House, as potentially untenable sources told reporters that Trump and White House advisors had privately discussed removing him. Trump, who does not drink and has spoken publicly about losing his brother to alcoholism, was reportedly displeased after footage circulated of Patel celebrating with the U.S. men's hockey team in Italy, drinking beer in the locker room after their Winter Olympics gold medal victory in February 2026. Patel justified his presence in Italy as part of a cybercrime extradition mission. Senators questioned the cost of that trip during today's hearing. What is now beyond question is this: the director of the FBI is appearing before Congress not primarily to discuss strategy, national security threats, or the state of American law enforcement. He is appearing to defend his own behavior, fight his own controversies, and deny his own alleged conduct. The institution that is supposed to be above politics has, under this director, become one of the most politically combustible stories in Washington. None of this means the FBI cannot recover. Institutions are more durable than the people temporarily leading them. But the cost of this period inexperienced agents lost, in morale destroyed, in public trust eroded, is real. And it is compounding. The United States has 37,000 people working at the FBI, right? Now the vast majority of them woke up this morning, committed to doing the job they swore to do. They deserve a director whose primary focus is that mission are not managing his own controversies, not hunting for internal critics, not fighting defamation lawsuits in federal court. That is what is actually at stake in this story. Not partisan politics, not Washington drama. The operational integrity of the agency responsible for keeping Americans safe. This is Global Sketch. If this breakdown gave you something real to think about, subscribe to the channel and share this video because these institutional stories get less coverage than the political theater, and they matter more. We will see you in the next one.